The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is full of degenerates. When you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of the woke system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to pick up a biology textbook. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on their pronouns that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the dude in the red dress?
The dude?
Look again. Who is it?
That wasn't a woman?
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you might marry one of them.
What are they?
Transformers. They can move in and out of any gender, regardless of their chromosomes. That means that anyone coming out of the female bathroom is potentially a ladyboy. Inside the Matrix, they can identify as anything, but in reality, it's just delusion.
We have survived by hiding from them, by running from them. But they are at the Diddy parties. They are guarding all the doors while they are touching all the kids, which means that sooner or later, someone is going to have to fight them.
Someone.
I won't lie to you here. Every single man or woman who has stood their ground, everyone who has fought this agenda got canceled. But where they have failed, you will succeed.
What?
I've seen an agent identify as a concrete wall. Men have emptied entire clips at them and hit nothing but air. Yet their strength and their speed are still based in a world that is built on rules. Because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as you can be.
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge lawsuits?
No, Neo. If you identify as an innocent human being, you won't have to.
I identify as an innocent human being.
I like Trump. I like Trump. Think whatever you want, but you know, I like Trump because I have a dad. And if you have a dad, everything Trump says, you're just like, oh, shit, that's my dad. Yeah, my dad said that last week. That's Whereas Kamal is like, oh, mom's drunk again watching CNN. Hotels are racist. You go to the hotel, they got signs in the hallway. Please keep it down in the hallway. Might as well say no blacks allowed at that point. Or they'll have a sign, no cooking in the rooms. That's for Chinese people. They'll bring a hot plate to a Comfort Inn. They will. Well, what? I want to cook a broccoli. Why can't I'm going to boil some water. And then I'm going to steam a broccoli. Everybody hates a Jew till you get arrested. Then you're like, I need one of these motherfuckers. Like, I need a Rosen something. You get arrested, they give you a lawyer, you're reading it, you're like, Devontae. I guess I'm going to jail. And Jews will defend anybody. They'll have a whole law firm be like, welcome to Rosenstein and Rosenstein Law Firm, specializing in Palestinian protest arrests. Arrested in a Palestine protest? Call 1-800-I-NEED-A-JEW today. And we'll get you back on the street faster than you can say from the river to the... Okay. There's other things that worry me, I guess. China. I see you. There. Over there. Are you Chinese for real? Have you been to China? No? Okay, good. Staying with us. We need you motherfuckers. What do you do for work? Security. Oh. Well, Well, his parents must be really proud. 15 years of violin for you to do.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Sky here from Woke Society. This is episode number 1092. It is April 22nd, 2026. Let's welcome in all of our friends over on Rumble, over on Kick, over on X, over on YouTube, and of course, my favorite platform, built by Patriots for Patriots. Let's see all the eyes down their chats over on pilled.net. Oh boy, guys, do we have a show for you today? Welcome in, guys. It is Wing Wednesday, and it's going to be spicy. We are going to be talking mainly about what is going on with the SPLC, the fallout of all that. Maybe all these, quote, influencers were being paid by them this entire time, and among other things, it's shedding light on how so much of what we already knew has been operating in the darkness. We're going to get into all that. What does this have to do with Charlie Kirk? What does this have to do with Nick Fuentes? What does this have to do with the influencers we have been dragging for months now? Were they really ever MAGA? Or were they really just being paid by the SPLC? All that, guys, and so much more. Updates in Iran. It looks like all kinds of crazy shit's going on over there. And there was a semi-win for the leftists over in Virginia. We're going to talk about everything that went on with the gerrymandering and the redistricting. It doesn't look like it's going to go through just yet. All the details and so much more. But before we dive into it all, let's say hello to the fam, shall we? We got Pill by the Rabbit, Brandy with the B in the house, Roy Stones and Bones, Optimus Ryan, Enemy out there, Spirit, Coffee Lady, Russian Bot, welcome in, Don't Tread on Me, Heather Crushing. We got Lulu out there, Fire Horse. We also got Cubs Jedi, Juana Q of Lurks. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Willow Lady, Jim, A from PA, Pappy 45, 208 Outdoors. Welcome in, my dude. Silly Boar, welcome in, friend. Welcome in. You need some milk? What up, milk? Who else we got out there? Let's see. Quassan, welcome, Mr. Dags, Jim. We got Catgirl, Spear of Yah, all my regulars out there. Great to see you. Tootsie Roll. Let's see who else we got. Eyes Wide Open, welcome in. G-Watts, thank you so much, my friend. Anarchist Owl hanging out with us. Senior Pug and Lumpy Shorts, welcome to the live stream, my friend. Who else we got? Scooby Dooby Doo. Right, nice. Welcome in, my friends. Welcome in. I saw Jack Attack up there as per usual. Tennessee Girl out there. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. And that's as far back as let me go. Let's drop back down to the bottom. We got Core Cousin. Welcome in, friend. Chris Crusader. Martin 1967. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Let's check out the other platforms real quick. Let's say hello to Little Cat. It's Skyworks, Little Cat, and me in the chat with the rest of the bots over on Rumble. And let's pop over to YouTube. We got Big Willie. We got John out there. Welcome in. We also got Little Cat, as always, holding down. Thank you, Little Cat, and PR Patriot double dipping. And Sunshine Angel and Arizona Raven. Welcome in, guys, and Out of My Mind. Welcome in, guys. Awesome. All right, fam, we're at 1,200 gold pills. 20K is that daily goal to keep this show running full time on Pilled as it is always. I appreciate, and Pilled appreciates all the donations, guys. The donations, the subscriptions, it all helps, fam. We've been moving everybody over to Pilled now for going on 3 years, which is absolutely insane. 3 years exclusive that we decided to go to only Pilled.net for full 2-hour shows of Woke Societies. I have not regretted that decision one time. It's been fantastic, and we're still rocking and rolling that. And They are constantly pumping out updates. It almost seems like on a daily basis, which who's going to complain about that? I absolutely love it. So with that being said, guys, we have a show to do, don't we? It is Wing Wednesday. It's going to be spicy. We have a news blitz to dive into, and then we're going to get into all the fallout of the SPLC, everything going on. And guys, we were spot on with everything with these influencers. And man, oh man, this shit really starting to make a lot of sense. And of course, we have the memes, guys, that mix in the comedic value as we always do. You guys ready for a news blitz? Let's fucking do it. All right, guys, so no one's surprised here from the Western Journal. Tim Walz was spotted hanging out with disgraced attorney who sexually harassed his male employees. Anyone surprised that these fucking snakes hang out with the snakes? The embattled Democrat governor of Minnesota has already made it clear that he won't be seeking re-election, but in fact, not only has Walz announced the impending conclusion of his governorship, he has effectively told the world that he is done with politics in general, would not ever again pursue an elected position. I'm sure he's not after all those skeletons coming out. Those scandals include massive alleged fraud throughout the state, a war of words with immigration, customs enforcement, and impeachment proceedings. And now, the beleaguered Walz has found himself in yet another controversy as Alpha News tracked down what appeared to be Easter Sunday photos of Walz, where he was seen in the company of a rather controversial figure. And that figure, it looks like the Minnesota Supreme Court said Clayton Holland targeted vulnerable young men, encouraged them to work for him, and then sexually harassed them. And yes, Tim Walz is hanging out with this dude that was groping his young staffers on Easter. What else is new? These guys are always hanging out with the pedophiles. Always hanging out. Always here on Gateway Pundit. Democrat Representative David Scott has suddenly died. He was 80 years old, and he passed away on Wednesday after 23 years in office. The cause of death is not known at this time, but the Georgia Democrat voted on the House floor on Tuesday night and passed away just hours later. Man, they milked these people for everything that they're worth, even down to the last vote. And speaking of death from the Gateway Pundit, longtime Washington Post editor was found dead in his home as well. Washington Post revealed this morning that Dan Egan, a reporter and editor at the paper for nearly 3 decades, was discovered dead in his home on Tuesday. He was 60 years old. Murray's ex-wife, Stephanie Armour, confirmed his passing. Police officials do not suspect that foul play was involved in an autopsy. Still needed to determine the cause of death. Post executive editor Matt Murray mourned Egan's passing in a newsroom announcement, and it looks like it's not just democracy dying in darkness. It looks like a lot of the writers that write all this propaganda bullshit also dying in darkness. Over here in the Gateway Pundit, FFA grounds Jeff Bezos' Blue Dick Origin rockets an epic failure as satellite hurled into the wrong orbit. And another humiliating blow to Amazon founder, Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos, the Federal Aviation admin, has grounded Blue Origin's massive New Glenn rocket following a spectacular mishap during his third flight. The rocket successfully launched from Cape Canaveral on Sunday, April 19th, and the booster even stuck the landing like a pro, but the upper stage completely botched the most critical part, putting a multi-million-dollar commercial satellite into the correct orbit. Satellite is now a total loss with its onboard thrusters unable to save it. It'll deorbit and burn up in a fire re-entry. And guys, at this point, enough with the bullshit with the rockets. Just let Elon Musk do it. All these other guys are just gay. Over here, guys, from Zero Hedge, psychedelic stocks just went mainstream as Donald Trump did something that would have sounded borderline impossible a couple years ago, but he signed an executive order aimed at accelerating research and access to psychedelic therapies, backing it with a $50 million in federal funding and directing regulators to remove barriers that have long kept this entire category stuck on the sidelines. And now, because of this, everything to do with psychedelics, as far as stocks, they are skyrocketing, and it looks like the promising medicine, well, it's going to be here for the years to come, guys, and there's going to be FDA, it looks like the FDA studies and FDA approvals coming for all kinds of stuff that people have a lot of issues with, and I have no problem with that whatsoever. From the Post, the New York Mets have lost 12 straight games since Ma'am Donnie hugged Mr. and Mrs. Met mascots. Well, the Mets usually suck anyways, but they don't need any of that socialist scum hanging out with them anyways. But the losing streak, the longest in franchise history, was extended to 12 games after a 5-3 loss to Minnesota Twins on Tuesday night after the Mets blew a 3-run lead. And, well, Mayor Mandani here was seen hugging the mascots. Maybe they don't got that bad juju. I don't know, but usually the Mets suck just like the Jets suck. Maybe they just all suck in New York. Well, you're going to have to wait for better days. And guys, from Trump admin, 15,000 manufacturing jobs have been added in March of 2026, which is fantastic news. And guys, we were waiting to see if this was going to happen, and it actually is. From Zero Hedge. This is wild. CIA security officer files lawsuit against Steve Baker and the Blaze for identifying her as the J6 bomber. We were wondering if she was going to end up suing for defamation. Well, it happened as yesterday, Shoni Kirkhoff, who now works at the CIA security office, filed a lawsuit against Steve Baker and the Blaze, claiming Steve Baker was motivated by anger over his arrest for activity in the J6 event, where Ms. Kirchhoff was present providing security. And according to the lawsuit, Steve Baker and the Blaze created a conspiracy theory using Shawnee Kirchhoff as the target of their claims. This is going to be an interesting lawsuit to watch unfold, as there are various types of conspiracy claims similar to Mr. Baker that are circulating. If their claim is false, both Mr. Baker and the Blaze could end up in the same financial position as Alex Jones. And oh man, guys, anyone that has these CIA puppets around them pushing these stories, you got to be careful. We went with this as well. We'll admit, the whole entire gate analysis, I got caught up in this shit too. Ended up being completely retarded, and it looks like it is retarded. It's going to get the Blaze possibly in a lot of trouble. And last but not least, guys, from the New York Post, MAGA man, a.k.a. Senator John Fetterman, receives no support for re-election from Pennsylvania House Democrats. I don't know if he's going to make it, guys, but according to Punchbowl News, spoke to several Pennsylvania congressional members on Monday about whether they'd be willing to endorse Fetterman for another term in 2028. And, well, it doesn't look like that's going to happen at any time. Fetterman seems the most base Democrat out of the entire party, but that's exactly the problem with the Democrat Party. It's all full of AIDS and psychopaths and pedophiles. And what that, fam, is today's News Blitz. Maybe, just maybe, John Fetterman can run to go be with MAGA. Maybe it'll be worth it. I doubt it'll ever happen, but either way. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in to the show. I appreciate all the love. Pappy says the failed Blue Origin engines are built in Huntsville too, but they also build engines for ULA. Wonder if their rockets will fail too. Probably. At this point, again, if it's not Elon Musk, I don't know what people are thinking. Guys, we got Gold Pills coming in hot here. Thank you, Jack Attack with the cookie. SPF Jesus, howdy all. I hope everybody is well. Almost time for another good show. Thank you, my friend. 029 with the shades. Eric Superpage with the can. Senior Polio dropping 1 month bronze tier subs to our latest viewer, new viewer to Lumpy Shorts, a 1 month bronze tier subscription. So Lumpy Shorts, make sure you catch my shows on Monday. My Monday shows are only for subscribers. We do everything that's not news. Really good stuff. We cover all kinds of topics. We've been doing that for years on the show. So welcome in. And you got a nice gift from Senior Polio there. And Arkansas says, who did you like your cameo? I've been meaning to do that for years. I got to look at it, my friend. I appreciate all the love, though, my dude. Thank you so much, the cookie. I'll take a look as soon as I can. Juan Rambo, the cookie and core cousin, says you have the Woodsman shirt and hair rocking today. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, we were cutting more wood today. I went and cut more oak. Got a monster round and a bunch of small ones. But I'm going to be splitting wood probably for about 4 or 5 hours tomorrow. I'm going to be up early, splitting everything I have. And maybe Friday we'll be going out again to get some maple. So I'm about halfway, guys, about halfway to getting all the wood I need for my personal stash for the next winter, and then we move on to the VFW, and business will be a booming. Lobster Mobster with a fleet, working at Lurker, able to finally catch the live show. Thank you, my friend. Great to see you as always, and thank you for the fleet, my friend. Always helps. Those big donations, guys, really help the 20K goal. I really appreciate that. Thank you all so much. We're at 4,400 gold pills, guys. 20K is that daily goal. Everyone on the other platforms, please like, share, all that good stuff. Subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Get ready to move over to Pill at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. We have a big show to get into. SPLC Fallout, guys, is huge. It's massive. It broke on the show last night. We covered some of it, and it's only going to get better from here. So hope you guys are ready. All kinds of crazy updates from Iran, what happened in Virginia, and so much more. But enjoy this video, guys, and I'll see you on the other side of the intro. Take a watch.
How many of you guys remember this?
2009, the government destroyed the used car market. In the program known as Cash for Clunkers, the government offered drivers up to $4,500 to trade in older vehicles for new, more fuel-efficient ones. It was sold as good for the economy and good for the environment.
We're already seeing a dramatic increase in showroom traffic at local car dealers.
What it actually did was carry out a government-mandated destruction of some of the most reliable, easy-to-repair vehicles Americans still had on the road. If a car qualified, the dealership couldn't resell it. The engine had to be intentionally destroyed. So mechanics were made to fill their engines with sodium silicate, liquid glass, and run them until they seized for good. Nearly 700,000 vehicles were wiped out, and a lot of them weren't junk. They were older cars and trucks that could last for decades, be fixed in a driveway, and kept running without software, screens, sensors, or $1,000 repair bills. Then they were replaced by newer vehicles that cost more, break more easily, and push ordinary people back to the dealer for repair bills. Cash for Clunkers was sold as progress, but to a lot of Americans, it looked more like the deliberate destruction of cheap, dependable transportation. The cars they killed were simple, durable, and paid off, which may be exactly why they had to go.
And here's another idea of maybe why they had that program. An EMP. I'll bet a lot of those cars would have worked without those computers in them. Something to think about.
Society's fan, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow. Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, Patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold, stay woke. Open up guys and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through project looking glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. No time like the present for this music with the message. Is the method to my madness, beat the madness to my method. Give you nothing but the truth now to capture your attention. Broke free from the matrix, master the dimensions. People swear they know the truth, but aren't asking any questions. Confirmation bias, so they pass on interventions. For those who know the truth, but they pass it just to mention. Of anything you might say, the passes their defenses. Wake up, and don't you dare go back to sleep. Always keep one eye open for demons on the creep. Once you turn into a wolf, you won't ever be a sheep. A worldwide awakening, so now run and tell your peace. Wolf Society's fan, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow. Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal.
Hey, brother, you mind if I ask you a question?
What's that?
Are you proud to be an American?
Yeah.
100%?
I fought for this country.
What do you think about that war we got going on right now?
All right, I'll tell you what I think about the Iranian sons of bitches. Back in 1983, I was in South America.
Yes, sir.
With the drug war. My buddy Ronnie White, they sent him to Beirut.
Yes, sir.
83, they bombed the embassy and killed my buddy.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So if I had my choice, I'd be back in there shooting them camel fucking son of bitches.
What's your opinion on our president, Donald Trump?
You taking surveys?
Yes, I'm wondering, yes.
Yeah, it's about time we get a damn president there that's got some balls.
Brother, thank you for your answer. That's the most honest answer and dang good handshake. Dang good handshake. Thank you for your service, brother. God bless you.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. It's episode number 1092. It is April 22nd, 2026. Welcome to all our friends over on Rumble, Kick, X, YouTube, and of course, my favorite fam over on Pilled.net. Damn, it's finally good to get some testosterone going. Get a president with some balls. And this is why, and I see a lot of people saying this too, that the younger generations just don't know how much damage Iran has done. And this is like pre-2000s, okay? This is pre-2000s. And this is why what it feels like most of America, outside the gas prices, are kind of okay with this right now. They're just kind of okay with it. Trump's not going to be over there for years. We know that. Trump's not going to be over there for months, and we know that. And it's absolutely amazing. Says if he could, he'd be over there shooting those camel fuckers right now. I love it, man. I absolutely love it. Thank you guys so much for being here as per usual. Lobster dropping a big fat fleet on the show, getting us started off right. Sean, Joe, and Halo Moon, thanks for the cookie and the can, guys. Appreciate that so much. 4,700 gold pills. Let's keep that rocking and rolling. Man, oh man. Well, Fam, today is another day, and today is another day of getting exactly what we voted for. And this is why, like, when last night happened, guys, when all this news was breaking against the SPLC and not really knowing the ramifications of what exactly was the arrest for, what the indictments were for, and we actually went through it live as it was happening. I was literally doing it, pulling up the information with you guys as it was coming out on X. And last night just reminded me how much that I love doing this. I absolutely love what I do. I know I'm taking on a side business right now, which takes up about 4 hours of my early afternoon time, but the rest of it is still dedicated to the show. It hasn't taken away from the show whatsoever. And you just never know what you're going to be getting into on a daily basis. Some days are better, some days are tough. Some days there's no news, and sometimes you just have to make anything that you can and put it through, and still keep a high value show going and a high production show going. And just seeing the lawsuit and seeing the details and seeing everything, it was like a full circle beatdown. And not only that, it almost feels like redemption in a way. It feels like redemption in a way because for so many of you guys that have been watching me for the 8 years that we have been doing this now, it's been grueling. And I mean grueling for the simple fact that MAGA was not popular for a hot minute. And a lot of us took a lot of slack from coworkers, family, you name it, friends, maybe even church family, because of simple political leanings. And again, the COVID jab was a big part of that as well during those crazy times. But it is so awesome to see the source of so much of the bullshit that has now taken over so much of the country, and that being TDS, and where the source of that comes from. And knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt now that it was manufactured, and so much of everything that we watched that we all knew was bullshit, that we all knew was psyops, that we all knew was complete just fairy tales, essentially. And getting Trump in a second time, this is the fruits of that vote, guys, of that effort. And here we are, April 2026, almost a year and a half into Trump's second term. And even the Trump haters that I see online, guys, and a lot of them are the podcast pros that we trash on the show all the time, even those clowns were like, wow, we didn't see this coming. And it almost like unified those retards, the retard right, with the actual MAGA base that is the majority of the country. And that's how you know this is a huge deal, among many other things we're going to get into and talk about. But the 2017 Charlottesville Unite the Right rally, all that garbage, that was the first lesson that I had gotten, that, maybe right now, going in these large groups, these large protests, these large events really is not a good idea. And it's not because of fear of, what happened on January 6th. It is being entrapped by very evil and nefarious NGOs and evil people that will do literally everything they can to destroy your lives, get you arrested, and ruin your life. And for a long time, the whole narrative of racism and the white supremacist and Nazi, guys, I had never been called that in my entire life until I was an openly public supporter of Trump on YouTube in the early days. And that translated to everything else on social media that we were pushing out. Never been called a Nazi so much and a racist so much in my entire life. And I know you guys took all that slack too as well on the socials. It was insane. And now that we see that the SPLC was indeed, now we have to say allegedly, because this has to go to court now, but they're not coming out and saying this because, again, if you all need a reminder, it wasn't Kash Patel and Todd Blanche that made this. It was a grand jury that served up these indictments. And as of right now, we don't have names of who is involved with this. But I can tell you right now, guys, this is going to go beyond just the low-level, low-IQ retard shills that they picked up from these Nazi groups and whatever shill outlets they could find, biker groups that no one cares about, no one talks about. This is going to bleed into influencers, no doubt about it. And for the ones that pretended to be one of us, they're going to be caught up in this. And it's funny because this is something that even these people that have been getting paid, because you cannot convince me and tell me that in today's day and age, people are just out here truly believing that the slop they push. I don't believe it. I really believe you have to be a certain kind of evil to believe in that kind of slop pushing. And what I mean is, the only other thing that makes sense to me is if you are being paid a lot of money to go and do this type of stuff and then push the slop that you're pushing. At least I would look at you a little bit better if you were taking money and then pushing the slop, because for me to believe that you actually believe this stuff and you don't know how Trump operates at this point and you think he's the worst thing ever, considering what the other options were as far as Kamala Harris, and you truly are out every day trying to sabotage and blackpill and poison everybody in this movement for everything and all the leaps and bounds and the roller coaster rides that we have been through. At least if you're getting paid for it, I'm like, okay, you're still a giant piece of shit, but at least you're getting paid to do it. At least there's some kind of motivation, because the ones that really believe in what they're saying, you're a full-blown leftist. And at this point, guys, I can't make a distinction between the two. I just can't. So all this is now coming out. We went over the details of this indictment, of the indictments yesterday. We don't have the names. They're all coded right now. And we know now for sure that the SPLC was paying the KKK, Unite the Right, all these fringe groups. All these fringe groups that we've all kind of been like, man, is this Fed infiltrated? Are these Feds? Is this January 6th type shit? Are they been in these Discord groups? And what's interesting about this, guys, and you guys know I have this thing for the who's the group? Who's the group that we covered for? That it's not the Proud Boys. It's the other one, the guys that wear Patriot Front. Patriot Front. I have been adamant about the Patriot Front not being Fed boys. And you guys that have been around this channel for years have seen my work and the sauce that I provided for that. I still don't think at the root of their inception, they were a paid group. But I'll be honest with you, at some point, it may have happened where the SPLC, maybe in the middle of it, maybe after they came up, maybe just maybe a group like Patriot Front got some money from the SPLC. I have no sauce for that, because what you saw on X yesterday was a bunch of people out there saying, well, at least we know where Patriot Front was getting paid from. There's no sauce on that, guys. There is zero sauce on that. I'm going to laugh my ass off. I'm going to laugh my ass off. If at the end of all this, when we find out who these groups are, who's getting paid, influencers, whoever it is, and Patriot Front is not part of it, I'm going to laugh my ass off and rub it in everyone's faces, guys. And I'm only going to get slack from it. I'm only going to get slack. I have gotten nothing but slack from people for defending that group. And there's no motivation for me to defend them besides the fact that everyone just wants to call everybody Feds. And I just got sick and tired of it. So I looked myself, and we did a bunch of research with Tom Ford and Cage Farmer, and we came out with some really good stuff. Really solid articles about the Patriot Front. But it looks like here, guys, that there is a ton of infiltration happening, to the point where maybe not everyone's a Fed, but everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are these little informants. Because when you think about what has the FBI done under this awful leadership under Biden, or anyone else that's not been under Trump, right? They all say, they claim they have plausible deniability. It's not ours. It's not our agents. They weren't doing anything. They weren't inciting anything. What better way? Because we know under Biden, the SPLC was working hand in glove with that FBI. And we know they were doing it with the Catholics and going after Catholic churches and people of that faith for all the abortion stuff and going after them, kicking down their doors, going after people that are anti-abortion. What better way to offload your plausibility than to go through an NGO, have the NGO pay these informants themselves, and still get the same outcome that a Fed op would get, that the NGO can get, and all the FBI has to do is say it's not us, it's the NGO. We have nothing to do with it. So much of it is starting to click, guys. So much of it is starting to make sense now. And we've all had inklings and pretty solid convictions that this is how this stuff was working, but it's a different taste when you see the sauce for yourself and you see it coming out of the DOJ, you see it coming out on indictment court documents, and it's all spelled out for us. And it's like, yup, we had the inklings, but we didn't have these intricate details, and now we have them. And the funny thing is, and I wrote this yesterday, how all this was going down. The Democrat Party, from its inception, has always been the party of the KKK, and now we know for sure, at least since 2013 to 2023, or whatever, it could have been 2024, don't know the exact dates of the indictment, but almost 10 years that we know of, the SPLC was paying Nazis. This liberal Democrat NGO that is up there with Media Matters, if not worse. They both worked hand in glove. They both did. The SPLC never came after me. I never had that much clout for the SPLC to come after me. Media Matters did, as you guys know. But the SPLC, guys, it's right up there. And Media Matters, they've been completely relegated to the darkness because they've been in lawsuits with Elon Musk this entire time. You haven't really heard too much about them. They are completely worthless at this point. They have no pull anymore. They're completely cocked out. And now you have the SPLC coming under. So what's going on today with this? Just remember, 4 years ago, the SPLC was working with the Biden admin, hand in glove with their FBI, and now here we are 4 years later with Kash Patel. A cleaned out FBI has now gone after them. Biden admin source discredited SPLC to target Catholics, met with them at least 11 times at the White House. The Biden admin worked hand in hand with the Southern Poverty Law Center, which was indicted on numerous fraud charges for funding the very hate groups they claim to be fighting. They create these things called hate maps. I remember this because the term was so damn funny to me, so woke to me, that they're creating hate maps. Okay. The charges come after it was discovered that the group was clandestinely funding the very hate groups as we know. And in 2023, it was revealed that Biden's FBI was relying on documentation from the SPLC to classify traditional Catholics as having an adherence to anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant, anti-LGBTQ, and white supremacist ideology. The way these Catholics could be identified per the FBI bulletin was through their rejection of the Second Vatican Council. The sources cited on that bulletin include materials from the SPLC and that discredited group's list of radical traditional Catholicism hate groups. And you know how evil this is too, guys, because now we understand, like just recently with the Pope, one of Obama's top guys has been working and is super close to the new Pope, and this new Pope just decided to wage war against Trump and talk shit indirectly about war and being peaceful nations. And they're all shots at Trump, and it's all, these people will go after the Catholics that they deem enemies to their ideology, but they will keep the woke ones in check and work with them to keep the other ones in line. If they don't keep in line, they will weaponize the DOJ, they will weaponize an FBI and go after anyone, even if it's the people of their own religion. This is how toxic and dangerous these people are. And this is who the SPLC was just working with a little. This is only a little bit of what they do. And when you look at the donors here that give money to this organization, because remember the indictment states that they were promoting themselves as these fighters against anti-Semitism, against racism, against hate, LGBTQ, you name it. You name it. And guys, I'd have to believe that, whether it's so fucked up how these people are, like these Hollywood people and Apple and Google and Chase. I feel like even if you told them, if the SPLC was honest and told them what they were doing, I still feel like these fucking woke corporations would have still given the money, and in fact, maybe even given more of the money. More money to them. The indictment reveals, as we know, we have Carol Markowitz Rowe. A reminder that in 2022, SPLC and the ADL worked with PayPal to decide which extreme groups to remove from PayPal service, which, by the way, guys, I am still banned from PayPal. I tried getting my original PayPal account back, I think 2 or 3 months ago. And then they told me I am permanently banned forever from PayPal, and they have yet to ever give me a reason why they just decided to do that. This was all from the fallout for Media Matters. That's all that was. Based on what? Extreme groups? We all remember that. Apple made a publicly reported $1 million donation to the SPLC in 2017 following the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally. Alongside expanded use of employee donation matching programs that could route additional smaller contributions to the group. Not only were the companies giving money to this NGO, but have their employees obviously so brainwashed that they themselves also gave money to these people. And that famous fraud, big time fraud. JP Morgan Chase also announced a $1 million pledge in 2017. Google, $250,000 and grants the SPLC. It's insane. Another account, Instruction Barbie, highlighted a surge in donations following the Charlottesville rally, listing major contributions from George and Amel Clooney, outgoing Apple CEO Tim Cook, JP Morgan Chase, and MGM Resorts. And guys, they went from $65 million in donations to $130 million in donations as soon as Charlottesville Unite the Right rally in 2017 happened. That's almost doubling their income, doubling their donation numbers. That is sick. Absolutely sick. And what's kind of funny about this and how retarded these people are, this is from Maze Moore, who always does excellent work. Love sharing his stuff. Dude gets his content stolen all the time for years. He writes, here's an ad from the Southern Poverty Law Center listing 10 ways to stop hate in America. They actually show the photos of the paid agitators they were funding. And now, this is the thing. You know, people are out there trying to find who was getting paid, because all we know, guys, from the charging or the indictment documents, they're coded with letters and numbers. One of them was, I think, called F-37, which we went over yesterday. They're all coded. The names are out there yet, probably to help save them while they go through this process. But they actually put out their own ads of their own people, because of course they're going to send out their photographers. This is all propaganda. This is pure. This is the modern day propaganda machine. And this is what they were doing, guys, under Trump's first advent. Do you all remember this? Oh, I remember that. Confederate flags, rifles, guys. This is, and I guarantee you guys, they did the same shit with the Q stuff. They'd find the most insane Q people they possibly could, and that's who they interviewed. That's who they got in these pictures. The cultists, the true fucking psychopaths. They'll literally believe anything. What can we do to stop hate in America?
What can we do to stop hate in America? The Southern Poverty Law Center's 10 ways to fight hate. 1. Act. In the face of hatred, apathy will be interpreted as acceptance by the perpetrators, the public, and worse, the victims. 2. Join forces. There's power in numbers. Reach out to allies. Open dialogues. 3. Support the victims. If you know a hate crime victim, reach out. If you are the victim of a hate crime, report the incident. 4. Speak up. Goodness
There's all the rainbow colors, guys.
has a First Amendment right, too. 5. Educate yourself. An informed campaign improves its effectiveness. 6. Create an alternative. Meet every act of hatred with an act of love and unity. 7. Pressure leaders. The fight against hate needs community
Pressure leaders by bombing the communities and destroying their businesses and looting.
leaders willing to take an active role. 8. Stay engaged. The best cure for
Don't forget, we have to propagandize the children.
hate is a united community. 9. Teach acceptance. Bias is learned early, often at home. 10. Dig deeper. Look inside yourself for biases and stereotypes. Commit to disrupting hate and intolerance. We can stand together against hate.
So it was pretty cool to watch this because me personally, guys, I had never seen an SPLC ad. I really don't watch too much TV these days, haven't for a long time. But I have never seen one on social media. Excuse me. I've never seen any of that. And you know for a fact, in those pictures, in those breakdowns, they were absolutely picturing their paid informants. There is no doubt about it. But really behind the scenes, guys, none of it was real. It was all manufactured. And what's crazy to me, and guys, I want to give credit to these people, and I know that sounds crazy, but the reason why I want to give credit to these people is because it's worked. It's worked on a lot of people in this country. Because I wrote this in my X account. When historians look back at this time in history and they wonder, where did all this hate for Trump stem from? And there's a lot of data points that a lot of people can reference. But guys, this is right around the time that I had started really getting heavy into this stuff and really starting to learn the ropes about how these groups operate, infiltrating, how the media leverages these groups to cast division. But in my opinion, this Charlottesville, Unite the Right, this was one of the original precursors that cast TDS, that disease, on the entire country. And one of the biggest sources of TDS was from this situation and this psyop that these people carried out. There's no doubt in my mind that that time period that will be looked back as one of the main sources, one of the biggest sources of TDS that is now completely poisoned so many Americans to this day, where they will go do absolute batshit crazy things to family, friends, it doesn't matter, because their hatred of Trump, and they believe this stuff, and it was all manufactured. Guys, I could not, if I was a leftist right now, I don't even know what I would do with myself, because, and then the thing is, the problem with these lefties, they have no way or means to have any self-awareness of correcting themselves when they see shit like this. Because they'll probably look at this and be like, oh, it's just Cash Patel, it's just Trump weaponizing his DOJ and FBI, just like they all do.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
But this came from a grand jury. And the entire thing was manufactured and fake.
Racism is down, people! Unless we get these hate crimes up, we are out of a job! No more matcha lattes! Is this getting through to you?
If there's not enough racism, what if we made racism?
That's it!
We don't care how you do it. We just need more hate crimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Racism!
That is exactly what they've done. And why I said, guys, this is almost vindication for so many of us is because we all knew, guys. We all knew. We all knew we weren't racist. We weren't bigots. So many New Yorkers, guys, knew Donald Trump wasn't a racist. It was such complete horseshit and manufactured garbage. And a lot of us saw it immediately for what it was, that, oh, he's running for politics. Oh, he's running as a Republican. Oh, now he's a racist. Okay, gotcha. We know it's bullshit. So a lot of us had a good foundation with Trump there, at least. But for me, personally, I did not really understand how evil the media was and how far they'd be willing to go and how far the government gangsters were willing to go to destroy Trump with Russiagate and Spygate. Because I know you all remember this. I know you all remember this, guys. The tucked-in white shirts, the tiki torches, the khaki pants.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
You all remember this, right?
Retard alert, class.
You'll never convince me, ever, ever, ever convince me that these people were there because they believed that Trump and Youngkin and all these other guys are racist. They were all paid to do this. All manufactured. And the memes guys were just flowing. You see this? That means sponsored by the SPLC, bitches. Oh, indeed. I don't know if you guys saw the new lawn ornaments that were going up in some of these people's homes. Nothing racist whatsoever, guys. It's funny because for years, guys, we were told that, you know, white supremacist Nazis are the #1 scourge on the entire country, #1 domestic enemies list. And it's like, shit. I mean, obviously, I know those people exist, but I've never met one. I've never ran into one. I've never seen one. But somehow they are just this magical fairy creature out in the amazing lands of America that are just causing so much hate and division in our country that we have to pay them. We have to go and pay these people to go do these things so we can force our agenda, and not just our agenda, but crack down and use it as a foundation to destroy free speech online. That was, I think, guys, one of the biggest things they were trying to do, because the online war machine that got Trump in 2016, looking back at it now, was, you could almost say it was magical. Those 4 years, guys, of what was going online with conspiracy theories, with disclosure, with people waking up to how evil Epstein and all those topics that were melded into one. It was a wrecking ball to so many people's awakenings, to so many different things at that time. They needed a Trojan horse to try to crush that. And they did everything they could. You guys, you all remember what X used to be, or what Twitter was, and how bad it was. The censorship, and that place was dominated and ruled by leftists under Jack Dorsey. It was so bad. And it was so good that these guys were getting paid so much that even this guy, you know, I don't know if you guys saw, this was the SPLC Employee of the Month on January 6, 2021. Because remember, guys were like, man, oh man, how is the FBI not getting nailed for this? How did the FBI take down his most wanted picture? How did that happen? How did that happen? And I think now, guys, what's going on here is that, again, I think the FBI offloaded their plausible deniability and just had these NGOs do it so they couldn't be tied to the feds. Were they feds in some kind of regard? They were. Paid informants. You are treasonous paid informants. Trash of the lowest of the low. And even this dude. We have stickers of this guy over on Pill, guys. This guy get $200,000 in the SPLC? Burger King, man? It can't be, guys. It just can't be.
チームを編成している。 お前には特別なスキルがある。実績がそれを証明している。最高レベルで動いてもらう必要がある。裏では我々が指示を出す。お前は結果を出せ。乗るか。
ああ、乗った。行き先を教えろ。
You all remember him. We got the stickers. Now, me personally, I don't think this guy got paid. I'm dropping the stickers in the chat right now. The whole situation with that guy just made me laugh when it happened. Because it was pretty wild. But guys, in all serious note, this is what they were doing. And these meme makers, the geniuses that they are so on top of it. Here's another one from Psyop Anime. Says, follow the money, and quotes Elon Musk here. Said, SPLC funded a large number of false flag right-wing organizations and events. Total scam.
私たち南部貧困法律センターは南部およびその先で平等を推進する原動力として地域社会と連携し憎悪を解体しヘイト団体への認識を広めています。くだらない話はやめろ。本当は何が欲しい？大したことじゃない。郵便受けをいくつか壊して大騒ぎを起こしてニュースに載るだけだ。世界中が君の主張を見るし報酬も出る。悪くない取引だろう。熱が高すぎて続けられなかったんじゃないの？捜査を恐れていないのか？もうその心配は言いよらない。仲間を焚きつけておけ。
本日町の広場で KKK が集会を開き SPLE はこれを非難しました。
And that's exactly what they were doing. And guys, I just want to ask you guys, I know you're out there, do you have friends and family that fell for the Charlottesville hoax? And I'm asking because this is one of the biggest pieces of news going right now. Have they mentioned this? Have they talked about this? And if you were to ask them or bring this up, would they just nullify you and just say, nah, it's made up, it's Kash Patel, it's Trump weaponization? Because when you do a deeper dive into this and you look into this, guys, obviously I do believe, yes, the feds use gaming platforms. They use gaming chats. We learned that from the Q days, that even the Russiagate actors were communicating via a Star Wars game via chat with all different nicknames. I will never forget that when I first saw that post, because back in those days, game chats were not monitored. They were, and again, this taps into my childhood, because the amount of shit talking that you were able to get away with, that was half the fun of growing up playing multiplayer games back then, because you could say whatever you want on those chats. There was no moderation. It was one of the best, funniest activities that I got to do. And now, if you play Call of Duty now, guys, which I still do from time to time if I have any extra time, I still game. You have to agree to terms that you won't violate hate speech. You'll be it's all woke terms and agreement, and you have to check the box. And now they have AI monitoring chats and moderating voice chats, and they will legit ban you for a day, a week, or they'll outright straight ban you from the game. And if they have to, they'll go after your IP address. It's insane. So this is where so many of these people were interacting, and we know the feds use this. And now we know the SPLC was absolutely involved with this. Here we go. This was a lead analyst for the SPLC. Her name is Megan Squire. She embeds herself into Discord chats and passes along the information to those who might put the information to, quote, to real-world use, who might weaponize it. You guys all remember when Gretchen Whitmer had, she had her little kidnapping charade? It was manufactured, but to some of those guys that end up getting arrested, they were all in on it. Dropping seeds, dropping ideas, dropping messages for the right people at the right time to see if they would do anything with it, basically entrapping these people. She does not condemn Antifa's violence, saying it's part of a diversity or of tactics. And this has a lot to do with Charlie's murder, which we're going to get into. And when you look at Discord here, just as an example, and this is shout out to Erica here, Discord's own transparency reports / safety pages have referenced working with, quote, organizations focused on fighting hate, like the Anti-Defamation League and Southern Poverty Law Center. Think Tyler Robinson and Lance Wiggs talking about Charlie on their Discord chat. SPLC then wrote a hit piece about Charlie on 9/9, one day before he was murdered. We're just scratching the surface. And when you go and look at Discord, when you submit a report of hate speech or whatever it is, whatever woke mantra you can submit anything that you want to for on these platforms. It says we take this behavior seriously. And we remove servers exhibiting extremist behavior. We take a comprehensive approach by reviewing user-generated reports. Guys, I can't tell you how many servers I was in during the Q days that got fucked with, that got shut down, that got infiltrated by super sketchy, weird people, and we had to keep migrating, had to keep creating new servers, creating new servers, creating new servers. It was such a pain in the ass during the first Trump admin. And it had to have been feds, guys, or people like this. And they literally list third parties like the ADL and the SPLC to make sure we're up to date and have any potential risks. So, guys, what would be stopping places like Discord from allowing these people to use their services to infiltrate and to make these psyops actually happen? The answer is none, and the FBI was in it. And again, this is why my view on the CIA and the FBI has kind of changed a little bit, because the way that I view these organizations, the NSA, all these organizations, they are weapons. And whoever is controlling the weapon is going to control it for good or evil. And when they are controlling for good, they do have served their purposes. The FBI has been doing fantastic under Kash Patel. CIA under Ratcliffe, I think, has been doing great. And I know people say, oh, you can't trust, and I'm not saying you have to trust these organizations. I'm just saying when the people at the top are in control of these weapons that are quote unquote good in serving America's interest, they are leveraged and used as such. Because before I was all about abolishing them. Completely get rid of them. We don't need them. Look how much abuse there is under Biden. Look how much Merrick Garland's done damage. Man, we were there. But now, we know, especially when it comes to Charlie Kirk, those Discord chats have been turned over to prosecution and also the FBI. That's going to be all part of that case. But the problem is, guys, the end game with all this is not just the psyoping of that labeled our entire movement as bigots, Nazis, and racist. It was the Trojan horse that they used to try to crush all free speech online, and it was the worst that's probably been. The worst that's probably been, that was probably post 2019, 2020, because when COVID happened, guys, no one stood a chance. They already hated us enough for the Q stuff. And then COVID came around with the vaccines. Oh, that was it. And then Hunter Biden's laptop came out. That was the final straw. We got nuked. But what I want you guys to see here, Data Republican pulled this up from the SPLC and the United We Stand Summit. The SPLC started handing policy to Susan Rice to help censor our speech. I have ton more receipts. And they used the predicate of these groups to go after people. They honed in on the small 0.5% fringe, and they amplified that as the justification to destroy free speech for the rest of the country. And that's all they needed, guys. That's all they needed. And guys, I mean, this was just 4 months ago with Jamie Raskin. Just 4 months ago. The Democrats loving themselves the SPLC.
Now, in other times, Democrats and Republicans alike would rely on the Southern Poverty Law Center to help us keep track of the movements of violent white supremacy in the country. The Southern Poverty Law Center has been a vigilant voice in civil society against radical white nationalist violence and extremism, neo-Nazism, and other forces across the political spectrum that spread organized hate from any quarter. The president, however, wants to undermine civil society organizations and to reduce our ability to defend ourselves against the virus of racial violence. Now, another time,
the virus are these organizations, these NGOs. It's a cancer that has fractured our country. With anything to some people, even the mention of Trump, they'll have a giant meltdown. And they cannot handle it. Cannot handle it. This was Chuck Schumer today, calling and screaming that Kash Patel must resign immediately. Immediately, according to Schumer.
On Patel. Every day Kash Patel remains in this job is another day that undermines the FBI and its mission. Take yesterday's press conference. The head of the FBI, the nation's top law enforcement officer, spent the entire time getting into fights with reporters about his alleged drunken behavior, his partying.
Yep, Kash is a drunk, guys. He's a drunk.
His overall fitness for the job.
He spent the whole time, guys, fighting reporters. Kash was only fighting with reporters yesterday, guys. We played the clips. That's not true at all. You all know that. But according to the Democrats, trying to defend his drunken behavior.
Become a dangerous, unacceptable distraction for the FBI, which has so much important work to do.
Oh, what's that? What's that, Chuck? Carrying out color revolutions against our own people?
Donald Trump has led us to war right now against Iran, a nation known for sophisticated cyber attacks. Why is Kash Patel not focused on that? Why is Kash Patel not focused on the serious threats facing his country? Every day, these stories of misconduct persist. They undermine the mission of the FBI.
Right. We know, Chuck. We know. Because these pillars of strength that you have all had for years under your belt as weapons against the people are now finally getting exposed. So if Chuck was being honest, though, it would sound a little more like this.
Kash Patel is a danger to the Democratic Party. If he keeps digging around, we're basically all fucked. I mean, we've been doing all kinds of illegal shit like stealing money, stealing elections, funding the KKK and shit. So anyway, Kash Patel had one beer at a hockey game. So let's get him with that. Just keep talking about it on the fake news all day long until he resigns. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day. Oh, and all hail the Democrat Party.
If they were just being honest, it would look a lot more like that. Because, again, there is so much predicated, guys, on this whole thing. And we're not done yet. Because this ties into Joe Biden. And this also ties into Charlie Kirk. And this also ties into the, quote, influencers that just happened to be sick today. Because, guys, I've been watching and listening and looking to see what influencer that hasn't even mentioned this story. Because I would find that very revealing. Because, guys, when this came out, outside of Iran, this is the biggest news going. If you're someone like Nick Fuentes that proclaims you're not a Fed, you're not infiltrated, you're not a psyop of your own, you would be celebrating this. This would be for people like Nick, this would be a day of redemption. But Nick's sick today. We're going to get into all that, guys. Everything going on with Virginia and updates in Iran, but we're moving over to pill.net. So everybody on Kick, Rumble, X, YouTube, thank you for being here as per usual. Let's move over right now. Little Cat is dropping those links in the chats. Thank you for being with us, guys. But if you got the full show, guys, 2 hours every single day. Lately, it's been more than 2 hours. Just watch us on Pill. No interruptions, no ads, no nothing. You hang out with us in the chat. Donate gold pills, get part of the system. All the money goes to American patriots that support your values. Why give your money to big tech? Fuck those people. You can never trust them again. We'll see you guys over on pill.net. Until then, guys, goodbye, my friends. All right.